Fishy, I know that you wanted me to get these pictures from the Kickstarter for Natalie's cakes.
Right, right. Natalie's cakes. This picture showed up um, uh, last night, I think, in the middle of all of the problems with the riots and everything. And Natalie's cakes had her windows busted out in the middle of all this. And I think here's a picture of her reaction to seeing that. And then Chad Kent, who's Chad Kent Speaks on Twitter, and good friend of ours, Chad Kent posted the picture and said, you know, I think it's good to have the picture going around and people to know sort of the stories of what's happening on the ground, but he said it's more important for us to also think about how to help. And he said, is there any way, he just threw the question out there, is there any way to help this woman, Natalie, specifically, you know, and other people like her, in order to, you know, I guess express solidarity, support the small businesses, the people that are struggling because of all the events that are happening there. And within maybe 30 minutes of me asking on Twitter if anybody had set something up, a person I don't even know tweeted me the information and told me where to find Natalie's Facebook page, which we're going to put the link in the chat for people. Natalie's Cakes and More has their own Facebook page. They have been two separate people have set up a GoFundMe for Natalie and her business so that she's not financially, you know, harmed with this. And we'll have the link for that as well. And it was a great illustration of how quickly people, and I'm not going to say conservatives or liberals or anything, but just people, just humans who feel for someone else who's having a really difficult situation happen, how quickly they can respond, and how quickly they have responded. Not just one person, but two people took it upon themselves to help raise money for her. And she's feeling the effects of that immediately, and it sort of gave her a different look. I know JD has another picture that he can show that they posted after the news of all that came out, and there's Natalie, and you know, ready to keep the business going, ready to attempt to make sure that she could go forward and still have her business. I just thought it was a beautiful thing. Within 30 minutes, strangers, people that we didn't know, had, upon inquiry, had directed me and thus Chad and thus all the people Chad talks to a place to help someone. And that is the beauty of social media at times like this, too. Yeah, you hear a lot of things that are going on. I saw some really wretched tweets last night in the middle of all the burning and the rioting and the looting. And my heart was really hurt over that. It was really painful to read a lot of the things that I read through my stream from all ends of the spectrum. And then to have this news this morning, today, it was such a breath of fresh air. I was so glad to see that this sort of thing happens, and happens lightning fast.
Because if you give us time, you know, our first reaction is going to be nasty and angry, and unfortunately we have social media to allow us to be public in our nasty, angry, emotional first reactions. But if you give most people a minute and a half to calm down, to think about it, to converse with other human beings, and to see the human faces behind things, and to really get to the humanity behind these big issues, they will stop and say, oh my gosh, that really is true. There are car dealerships that have been torched, and their insurance policy is not going to cover a riot. This woman who runs a cake shop, the guy who runs the liquor store, the the dry cleaner, the franchisee who has the auto parts store. These guys are really in trouble, and they're going to need some help. And we want that help to come from people, not from a big federal government.
You know, and a lot of conservatives will, and I know that's going to happen. As always, we ride in as the good guys. And there will be liberals who ride in as the good guys also, and help rebuild some of these things. That's the best way to send a message. Get your hands dirty, roll up your sleeves, help.